Welcome to Mage Wars. I'm Gerding, and in this video we're going to talk about walls. Walls are easy to identify from any of the other spell cards because walls are sideways, horizontal, as opposed to the normal vertical alignment on the cards. Now walls are actually pretty exciting. I didn't think I'd be standing in front of you talking about how exciting walls are, but I'll let you be the judge. Let's talk about them now. Walls are special types of conjurations, and as previously mentioned, they're sideways on the card. And unlike other conjurations, walls are always placed on the border between two zones. Walls always cover the full length of the zone border. At least one of the two zones adjacent to the wall must be in range when you cast the wall spell. Only one wall can occupy the line between those two zones at a time. There's no doubling up on walls. If you want to place a different wall there, you must first destroy the old wall. Wall cards may have one or more of three special traits. Walls can have passage blocked, passage attacks, and block line of sight. Let's talk about each of those right now. So passage blocked. If the wall has this symbol, creatures may not move through that wall unless they have the climbing or flying traits. And again, you can look up any creature traits like climbing or flying in the codex in the back of the instruction manual. Next, there's passage attacks. This symbol indicates that a creature may try to move through the wall, but to enter the zone on the other side, the creature will automatically suffer an attack from the wall. This attack occurs before the creature completes its movement action. So if the creature is restrained or incapacitated by the wall's attack, it must remain in its original zone. This is a special kind of attack that is neither melee nor ranged and cannot be avoided and does not trigger any damage barrier or counter-strike attacks. If the wall does not have either the passage attacks or passage block symbols, creatures may move through the wall freely. Finally, there's a block line of sight icon. This symbol indicates that the wall prevents creatures on one side of the wall from seeing anything on the other side of the wall. Abilities and spells cannot target any object or zone that is on the other side of the wall that is blocking line of sight. Walls never block line of sight to or from any creature with the flying trait. After all, they're up in the air and can see over and beyond the wall. Note, for game purposes, just keep in mind that the border around the arena has the passage blocked and blocked line of sight traits. Extendable. All walls have the extendable trait, which allows you to extend them over a larger area. When you cast a wall, you may immediately take a second identical wall spell card out of your spellbook, and that is only if you have one, and cast it at the same time you're casting the original wall spell. You must pay the full mana cost for both spells, plus mana equal to the spell's level. So it costs you a bit more to have that second wall, but you're getting two walls out in the same time it takes you to put one wall. The second wall must be placed as a continuation of the first wall, either in a straight line or bending around a corner. Both walls must be in range and line of sight as normal. Attacking walls. A creature in either of the zones next to a wall may make a melee attack against that wall as if it were in the same zone. Ranged attacks may target a wall if either of the adjacent zones is in range. Walls do not occupy a zone and are never affected by zone attacks or spells that target a zone. Line of sight. In order to cast a spell or make a range attack against a target, you must have a clear line of sight. This is called LOS for short. So here in this example, we have a warlock, and that warlock is preparing to cast a fireball at his enemies. But the walls of stone block his line of sight. He can only target the creatures in the zones marked green. The walls of stone block line of sight and prevent him from seeing and targeting any creatures in the zones marked red. Note that he can trace the line of sight to the wolf because the line traced from his zone to the wolf's zone only touches a wall corner and does not pass through its border. However, he has no line of sight to the raven. Even though a trace line only crosses a wall corner, both zone borders of that corner have a wall. Walls have passage attack symbols and traits. Sometimes this can be used against the caster's intent. For instance, let's imagine that we have a warlock that casts a wall of fire. Well, someone could force push that warlock or one of his creatures through his own wall of fire. But the passage attack still happens automatically. It's not a choice. Therefore, even though the warlock is in control of the warlock and the warlock's in control of the wall of fire, the warlock can be force pushed through that wall of fire, and his own wall of fire will cause that warlock damage. Well, that's walls. And as you can see, walls add a whole nother level to the game. You can actually corner off borders with walls. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. We're done with that. But next time, we're going to talk about the little factories that can spawn creatures of their own. I'm talking about spawn points. I'm Gerding, and I'll see you in the arena.